blue shirt on a blue background. Changing it up a little. Yeah. Hey! Welcome to episode number 67 of the Langille Show. My name's Brian Langille, and you know what? Blue shirt, blue background may not work, but we're going with it because we're 10 seconds in and I'm not stopping to retape. Apparently most people agree with me that lotto tickets shouldn't be sold in the main lineup of gas stations, and you know what? Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I was thinking after I posted that, maybe I'm the only one. But no, apparently I'm actually in the majority for something for once, and you know, it feels pretty good. Well, I don't really have a bunch of topics that I want to talk about in this one, so what I figured I'd do is I'd take a bunch of mini topics, blend them together, and serve it to you on one silver platter. And incidentally, it's all going to be based on hamburger. Now, I know what you're thinking, Langille, how could you possibly make anything entertaining out of hamburger? And I ask you, how do I make anything entertaining at all? Hamburgers, a staple of Americana, much like apple pie. There's hamburgers, a big part of barbecues and kids' birthday parties. Hamburgers, making Ronald McDonald rich and Grimace incredibly fat since 1942. So backing it up just a little bit, back to when I was a little Langille, back to when I was off-camera height. Yeah, about that high. I remember my parents took me to Burger King. Now, years ago, Burger King had a gimmick going with some guy named Herb. He was like a nerdy guy wearing a gray suit. Check it out in Wikipedia or Google if you want, because I don't remember the specifics of it, but all I remember is Burger King tied in with the guy saying, "I'm not Herb." Or he was Herb. It doesn't matter. The idea was that when I was a kid, my parents took me to Burger King, and usually when my parents ordered something, they made it very simple. One parent took me to the table and kept me away from public. The other parent went up and ordered things. This because my parents were totally against drive-thrus. Hated drive-thrus. We had to go in for everything. Even if we were going back out with the food, we had to go in to order because that whole talking into a screen thing, yeah, what wasn't for my parents. So we go in, and for the first time ever, or at least first time that I can ever remember, my dad took me up to the counter with him. Normally, like I said, I'm in the back making, you know, little triangles with straws or something. I wasn't allowed dealing with the public. And he brought me up, and I'm standing there. We're standing in line. I'm like, "Dad, can I get a burger? Dad, can I get a burger? Dad, can I get a burger? Dad, can I get a burger?" This is before Happy Meals, by the way, kids. So, you know, I remember when restaurants didn't have combos. How bad is that? Anyway, so we get up to the line, and my dad's looking, and he sees the banner that says, "I'm not Herb." And it says, if you order a Whopper and say, "I'm not Herb," you get a second Whopper for free. So my dad's standing there, and he goes, "I'm going to have a Whopper, large fries, and a pop, and I'm not Herb." He couldn't have said it any more anti-dramatic than what he did. Like, he literally just read, "I'm not Herb." So the guy was behind the counter. He goes, "Okay, so you get a second Whopper for free." So Dad goes, "Whoa, not so fast. How am I getting the second Whopper for free? Is the price of pop different? Is the price of fries different? Did you change the price of the burger? Are the burgers smaller?" And the guy, who obviously doesn't care, you know, he's a teenager just making his minimum wage, goes, "No, if you order a Whopper and say, 'I'm not Herb,' you get a free Whopper." So Dad's like, "Okay, I understand, but there's got to be something, because you're never going to give away a burger for free. So how is this actually happening?" Like, my dad wants the magical explanation of how you get a burger for free by saying three simple words. And of course, the guy behind the counter just works there. He doesn't have any of the details. He's just like, "No, all they tell me is if you say that, you get a free Whopper." Meanwhile, I'm standing there looking at my dad, talking to this guy behind the counter. I go, "Dad?" He goes, "What, Brian? Did you want one too?" I'm like, "Dad?" He's like, just a second, Brian. "So what I'd also like," I'm like, "Dad, I have to go to the bathroom." Anyway, that story probably is more entertaining to me than it is to you guys, but it was just funny how my dad just couldn't take it at face value. We're getting a free burger, and I had to go and ruin the whole thing by saying, you know, "I don't care with the burger, I just need to go to the bathroom." Moving along the hamburger highway, I want to talk about something different. Now, there's a pub here in town, and I'm not going to mention the pub by name, not because they gave bad service or I don't like their items. It's because I live in a small city, and the more I start mentioning things around me and people around me, eventually people are going to see me, and they're going going to want to talk about me talking about them, and I don't really want to talk about that. So we're just going to avoid names and specific people and just tell the gist of the story. So, like I said, there's this pub in town that sells hamburgers with peanut butter on them. And I saw this on the menu and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. No one is possibly going to order a hamburger with peanut butter. Because I consider myself, you know, a kind of a loose guy when it comes to food. I will eat most of anything as long as it's not fish or rice. I'm usually good with it. But peanut butter on hamburger is just not one thing I'm willing to try. And it's not the whole peanut butter and meat thing, because I'll eat bacon and peanut butter together in a sandwich. I will gladly do that. But hamburger and peanut butter? No. And I like to put pickles on my hamburgers, and pickles and peanut butter, they just don't work. So yeah, this pub offers hamburgers with peanut butter, and they're so, you know, over the top proud of this that in the event that you don't like it, they will buy it back from you, which I think is brilliant because they pay you back for it, and you know, you're up money because you're probably sick from the first thing, so you're not going to order anything else. That, or they wait till you have 4 or 5 beer, then they sell you the peanut butter hamburger, and you're like too drunk to realize what you're doing, and you go with it. I'm not sure which way that's going, but either way works for me, depending whether you're drunk or sober. And now for the third part on hamburger, and I bet you're thinking at this point, I didn't realize one guy could talk so much about hamburger, but you know what? Lo and behold, I'm that guy. So this weekend, we decided we'd go out for a bit of a picnic. So we went to Burger King and went through the drive-thru, unlike my parents who have a phobia of those things. So we're going through the drive-thru, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I'm the kind of guy where I get sucked into the whole idea that bigger is better. Obviously. So I saw the ad there for the Burger King Steakhouse burger, and there was the regular and the loaded. And I obviously had to go for the loaded bit because, you know, again, bigger is better. So the loaded version, I thought, came with, you know, bacon and cheese and the fried onions on, like the onion rings thing. You know, that's what I wanted. So we're in this bit now where we're trying to convince my little guy that everything is delicious, everything is tasty, you should always eat things, you know, you should try them before you say you don't like them. Unless, of course, it's fish or rice, in which case there's a, you know, a carte blanche on that. Anyway, so I order the steakhouse. Owen gets, I think he got chicken nuggets, and Susan got a burger. Doesn't matter. The point is that I ordered the loaded steakhouse burger. That's the key point here. So we get to our picnic destination, and we're taking out all our food and everything. I take one bite of my burger, and I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. Now, I can't say this because, of course, again, we're trying to teach my little guy that everything is delicious and try everything. So I'm like, Susan, there's something wrong with my burger. And she's like, what? What's the matter with it? I said, there's this white gunk all over it. And she's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. Is it horseradish? Is it, you know, like, what is this? Owen goes, I know what it is. And I said, what is it? He goes, it's good. Yes. Yes, it is. So I reluctantly eat the rest of my burger. While, meanwhile, my son's just staring at me, you know, is it good, Daddy? I'm like, mm-hmm. And I get home and I look it up on the internet because, you know, you can find anything on the internet. And it turns out the white gunk all over the top of my loaded burger is potato. Who in the blue hell puts potato on a hamburger? I'll tell you, Burger King does. They figured this was a good idea. You know, I live on an island which mass exports potatoes all over the world, and never once have I heard of anybody putting potato on a hamburger. Peanut butter? Reluctantly, yes. Potato? Never heard of that shit. But apparently that's what they do. You can get mashed potato on top of your hamburger. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but mashed potato is kind of wet in the first place. So putting it on a burger with buns on it, you know, kind of soaks the bun. It ruins the whole thing. So much like my advice earlier this year with KFC and the chicken bowls and the whole mashed potato thing, I'm passing that memo along to Burger King. You don't put mashed potatoes on a hamburger for any reason. Anyway, I can see I'm clearly out of time here, so I'm going to wrap this one up. But thank you for watching episode number 67 of The Langille Show. I didn't think I'd talk that much about hamburger, and I probably never will again. But in the meantime, you can check The Langille Show out at thelangilleshow.com, at youtube.com. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Langille. Yeah, I'm gonna go have myself some supper, and you know what we're having tonight? That's right, hamburger. Take care.